Powerful people never just appear. They arrive, and they never arrive by accident. Their presence is a calculated event, not a moment, a message. They don't speak often, but when they do, the room tilts. Why? Because power is not noise. It is control over silence. Powerful people don't rush. They let others fidget with urgency, while they move like time bows to them. They are not everywhere, because what is common cannot be commanding. They make themselves scarce, so their presence becomes currency. They walk into rooms like they own the air, not loud, not desperate. Certainty is contagious. It infects doubt and the powerful. They breathe it like oxygen and exhale direction. Their words are few, but their timing is weaponized. They pause, let silence work, and strike with precision. They wear simplicity like armor. No flash. No clutter, every detail intentional. You think they're lucky. No, they rehearsed the moment you thought was spontaneous. You think it's charisma. No, it's preparation plus restraint plus presence. Powerful people don't seek attention. They command reactions, and reactions are gold. They control how you feel. Then let that feeling think for you, because in the end power is not who shouts loudest. It's who makes the room listen longest after they've left. This is how powerful people systemize their presence. Not through force, through design. You want power. Don't just show up. Become unforgettable, deliberately. Consistently, quietly. Power is not what you hold. It's what others believe you hold. That belief is more binding than fact, more dangerous than proof, more lasting than truth. You can possess the throne and still be ignored, but if they believe you are king, they will kneel, even in your absence. Possession is temporary. Perception, that's legacy wrapped in illusion. People obey what they fear, but they follow what they revere. And reverence is perception sculpted over time. The powerful do not chase titles. They build myths. Their name becomes the story, not just a label, but a signal. When they walk into a room, they don't announce themselves. The room reacts, not to their money, not even to their words, but to the weight of what they represent. That weight is perception, engineered, refined, maintained with obsession. Power fades when perception isn't fed. A lion starves when it forgets it's a predator. The powerful never let people forget. They plant impressions, then step back and let imagination inflate them. You see silence, they see stagecraft. You hear pause. They hear tension forming loyalty. They move slowly, so you watch longer, they speak less. So you listen harder. Every time they speak, they reaffirm their story. Not through facts, but through framing. They don't ask you to think. They make you feel something you can't ignore. Perception is emotional architecture. The powerful build palaces inside your mind, not with bricks, but with moments that feel like prophecy. You remember how they made you feel, not what they said, not what they wore, but the gravity they carried, because perception isn't just image, it's emotional memory. They leave residue, a scent, a tension, an ache of mystery. That ache becomes influence. That mystery becomes magnetism. It's not possession that makes people follow. It's the fantasy of what you might do next, and the powerful leave just enough unsaid to keep that fantasy alive. Never reveal the whole truth. Let curiosity become loyalty. Let distance become desire. Let the unknown become authority. They understand one rule: when people stop wondering about you, they stop watching you. Perception is the currency of influence. Possession spends it, but mystery multiplies it. This is how power endures, not through grip, but through illusion held with discipline. Power, in the hands of the unperceived, is just weight without force. But perception turns a whisper into a war drum, and the powerful, they never just hold power. They shape how the world sees it, and that shape is their true weapon. Perception bends reality, but presence controls the moment. And the powerful, they don't leave that moment to chance. They plan it, shape it, choreograph it like ritual. Nothing is casual, nothing is random. Even their absence is a signal. You thought they just showed up. No, they studied the angles before you arrived. Every entrance is designed, every gesture rehearsed, every pause timed. Presence is not being there. It's controlling what happens because you're there. Watch closely. They walk in late, on purpose. Why? To make the room adjust to them. That's not arrogance. That's leverage. Because the one who adjusts is the one who follows. They know that motion draws eyes. So they move slowly, deliberately, letting your anticipation inflate their importance. They speak second, because the second speaker defines the frame. They listen first to measure the temperature of the room. Then shift it. Improvisation is for amateurs. The powerful aren't reacting. They're directing, with silence, with stillness, with posture. You think their hands just rested that way. You think the glance was spontaneous. It wasn't. It was planted like a weapon, because presence isn't about volume. It's about impact per second. They don't need to be loud. They only need to be unmistakable. When they stand, people straighten. When they sit, people lean in. They don't beg for attention. They pull it like gravity. It's not charisma. It's control, not of the crowd, but of the self. They don't fidget. They don't justify. They don't shrink. Because presence begins in the spine and radiates outward, people mirror what they feel, and what the powerful radiate is certainty without explanation. They've rehearsed their stillness, refined their eye contact, tested their tone in mirrors and memory, not to impress, but to command. You think that look they gave meant nothing. That pause was hesitation. It was calculation. Every breath, part of the score. Because they know something others don't. People don't remember what was said, they remember who controlled the room. And rooms are controlled by those who control their presence, not their personality. Not their popularity, just their intention wrapped in discipline. Improvised presence leaks weakness. Orchestrated presence builds legends. Even their silence speaks. Even their exit echoes. They leave with less than they brought. Because presence, when real, doesn't need to stay long. It lingers without permission. This is why they never rush, why they never explain, why they never fill silence with nervous air. Because they understand. The moment you feel in control of their presence, you stop fearing it. So they keep it structured, tightly, like a blade held at just the right angle, and that structure is power made visible. Presence isn't what you do. It's what others feel when you do nothing. It's a system, built moment by moment, word by word, silence by silence. Presence is a crafted event, but its power fades with overexposure. You've seen it. The one who's always around, always speaking, always available. Soon you stop noticing them, then you stop respecting them, and finally you stop listening, because what is always seen becomes background. The powerful avoid this fate. They understand a brutal law. Familiarity is the enemy of influence. So they vanish, not to hide, but to build demand. They make themselves rare, because rarity breeds value, and value invites worship. Every appearance is rationed, like gold, like prophecy. They disappear just long enough for the room to miss them. Long enough for the silence to reshape their image. Long enough for memory to inflate their stature. Absence sharpens perception, and they weaponize that. They don't beg to be remembered. They leave impressions that haunt memory. You think they're being distant. No, they're shaping the narrative from the shadows. They let curiosity grow. Let anticipation ferment. Let the unknown make them larger than life. Because here's the secret: when people don't see you, they start to imagine you, and imagination always paints in stronger colors. They use absence to make their return an event. not a continuation, a rupture. So when they enter again, it doesn't feel like back to normal. It feels like a summoning. Scarcity builds hunger, and hunger builds loyalty. While others flood the stage, the powerful leave space behind them, so when they return, the silence greets them like royalty. They are not hiding. They are controlling the pace of their myth, and the myth grows in the margins, in the waiting, in the pause between appearances. It's not how often you're seen. It's how long they remember you after you're gone. That's why the powerful don't linger. They know the longer you stay, the more the magic leaks, so they exit on a high note before presence becomes weight. They speak, they strike, they leave, not cold. Just calculated. They don't perform daily because daily presence becomes daily noise. They let others scramble for attention, let them flood the stage, let them overexpose and erode their value. Meanwhile, the powerful sit back, they wait, they let the room wonder. Then, when the hunger peaks, they reappear, but this time, they're twice as unforgettable, not because they changed, but because absence changed how they're seen. People fear what they can't reach, desire what they can't predict, respect what they can't possess, and so the powerful keep just enough distance to stay above the noise, but close enough to command it. You think power is about being everywhere. No, it's about being missed. They make scarcity their signature, then make presence feel like a privilege. The powerful are not forgotten when they are gone. They are etched deeper into the room, their absence echoes, their name sharpens in conversation, their silence becomes the topic. That's not neglect, that's precision. You want power, don't flood the room. Shape it, then vanish and let the void amplify you. Scarcity creates demand, but demand is fragile if you don't control how you're consumed. The powerful know this, so they go further. They don't just limit their presence. They engineer every second of it. They treat moments like weapons. Every gesture, every silence, every delay a calculated strike. Nothing accidental, nothing wasted, nothing casual. You blink and miss a message. You assume and fall into their rhythm because the powerful move with invisible intent. Watch their hands. They don't fidget. They signal with stillness. One glance and alliances shift. One pause and tension thickens. They never rush a word. They let silence dig under your skin. That silence, not hesitation, not absence of thought. It's space for pressure to build. People panic in silence. They fill it. They ramble. They reveal the powerful. They let silence speak on their behalf, because words explain, but silence creates weight. They delay their response so yours loses certainty. They hold a look so you question your footing. It's not magic, it's micro-control. They know the brain fills gaps, so they give it gaps to fill. A slow turn of the head, a delayed handshake, a half-smile at the wrong moment, all tools, all signals, all strategy. They don't perform. They orchestrate discomfort, subtly, and while you overthink, they stay still, in control, unshaken. Every beat is rehearsed. Even the pauses feel natural because they're not stumbles. Their triggers, delay used right, makes the room lean in. People crave closure, so the powerful withhold it. It's not manipulation, it's positional warfare. They know, the one who makes others react. Controls the tempo. They never react first, because first to move is first to lose leverage. Instead, they delay not to think, but to watch you unravel. They give you just enough time to expose your intent. Then they speak not to answer, but to redirect. Gesture becomes punctuation. A pause becomes domination. The slightest lean forward and people shift closer. The faintest tilt of the head, and someone thinks you agree when you've said nothing. That's control, subtle, psychological, dangerous. The weak chase attention. The powerful shape perception with fewer movements. Their power doesn't rise from more. It comes from less, deployed better. Every delay builds tension. Every hesitation is placed like a trap that feels like coincidence. They walk into rooms like they're setting a clock. Every tick matters. Every pause echoes, and the silence. That's not absence. That's the sound of everyone else adjusting. They've mastered time without needing to own it. Because time bends around the one who doesn't rush. Gesture, silence, delay. The room is a chessboard. And the powerful move pieces without touching the board. You feel it, but you can't trace it. You react, but you don't know why. That's not charisma. That's strategy disguised as presence. The room was already moving to their rhythm. But it wasn't the words, not the strategy, not the delay. It was the emotion they triggered, because people don't follow logic. They follow feeling disguised as logic. You can argue with facts. You cannot argue with what you feel in someone's presence. The powerful know this, so they don't focus on being understood. They focus on being felt. Emotion overrides intellect every time. It doesn't ask permission. It just floods perception and distorts truth into what feels right. You want control? Make them feel certainty around you. Make them feel nervous without you. Make them feel safer under your shadow than in their own spotlight. That's not leadership. That's emotional positioning. They don't ask, what do I want them to think? They ask, what do I want them to feel the moment I enter? Respect, tension, relief, awe, even fear if useful. Because once emotion is installed, thought follows its shape. People build beliefs to justify how they already feel. The powerful plant the emotion. Then watch the mind do the rest, and the mind will obey. It wants comfort. It wants clarity. It wants something to trust. So give it feeling first, and the thoughts follow like trained dogs. That's why they don't over-explain. They let tone carry more than content. Let eye contact feel like certainty. Let posture say what logic cannot. You don't remember what they said. You remember how you felt standing next to them. That feeling, it rewires belief, because when someone makes you feel powerful, you trust them. When someone makes you feel seen, you follow them. And when someone makes you feel afraid, you hesitate before crossing them. The powerful use that, not recklessly, but surgically. They study how others feel around them, then design those feelings intentionally. Insecurity, installed through subtle comparison. Loyalty, built through rare approval. Obedience, activated through controlled unpredictability. Even kindness, when it's rare and precisely placed, feels like salvation. They make their praise feel like oxygen, so when they withdraw it, you gasp, not because they're cruel, because they understand emotion is leverage, and leverage is not gained through being liked. It's gained through emotional precision. Make people feel indebted. They'll find reasons to stay loyal. Make them feel unworthy. They'll overperform to earn your approval. Make them feel chosen. They'll tear down others to protect your favor. You don't have to be feared to have power, but you must be able to tilt the emotional balance of others, on cue, without force, without effort. The weak try to change minds, the powerful shift atmospheres. They walk into a room and the emotional field changes, more alert, more focused, less casual. That isn't charisma. That's emotional dominance, and that dominance doesn't need noise. It doesn't need praise. It doesn't even need presence. If you've made someone feel something deep enough, they carry it when you're gone. That's how control survives absence. That's how loyalty outlives logic. That's how fear disguises itself as respect. And the powerful, they don't just walk with influence. They make others feel what thinking can't undo.